Hey everyone, I've returned. A few hours later, like I said, same day though. I'm back. Bit of a somber intro this time, because, what happened last time was very feels bad, man. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FF14 Shadowbringers. We're on the home stretch now. Yeah, level 79 quests, I believe, so we'll be getting done on this stream. But yeah, decided I'd switch up the intro a little just to fit the mood of what happened last time, Our poor defeated hero here. Leon wondering what the hell's gonna happen to him. Wonder if he's just gonna wake up as a monster one day and start attacking and killing his friends and traveling companions that he's held dear for so long. It's a very feels bad man moment. Anyway, stay going. I didn't even realize it made a sound when you did the stretch, but I guess it makes sense. So yeah, Everlasting Light has returned everywhere, because we're basically a Light Warden now. I think the only difference between us and the ones we fought is basically we're still capable of human rational thought, I guess, or whatever. I haven't turned into a mindless monster yet, but other than that, pretty much all the same properties as the Light Warden. I like that the game gives you that achievement, as we saw in my old video of my first playthrough. You get the achievement called Light Warden. The game really letting you know, hey, you just turned into what you were, what you hated and were destroying left and right. I wonder if they were loosely going for that whole, like, you either die a hero or live long enough to become the villain kind of thing. Maybe they were lightly going for that theme. I feel like the context is slightly off for that, but maybe. Anyway. Well, look who's back from the dead! Hey, Braggy. Aye, it was a grim sight. Your companions looked fairly ready to drop when they brought you in, so I offered a helping hand. Couldn't bear to see them struggle so. And you, my friend, I feared you had one foot in the grave. Cold and lifeless you were, like a corpse that was somehow still breathing. Not too far from the truth. Remember, Sin Eaters are basically like zombies. They're just dead bodies that are reanimated with light and all that stuff. Then they told me some evil bastard went and snatched our poor Exarch away in the midst of the chaos. Wicked White, what is this world coming to? But moaning never solved a thing, did it? May, it's times like these that we Crystarian folks stand tall and do what needs to be done. Trade with Yulmore is back on the table. We'd best make use of those resources to fortify the city against the Sin Eaters, or whatever misery the Fates deem fit to throw at us next. Speaking of misery, Chesamil was worried sick about you. A healer wringing her hands is not a sight you ever wish to see, let me tell you. Oh, glad am I to see you walking again, my friend, but this business with the Exarch, it weighs heavily upon all our minds. Yeah, I know. Sorry there. Oh, sweetie, you're alive! No one's been allowed to see you. Even Spagrix Pyrogens were forbidden from making visits. Reen was kind enough to tell me you were showing symptoms similar to Eater corruption, so I suppose there was little any of us could have done for you in any case. As for your companions, they've been rushing hither and yon, seeking a cure to your condition. I worry to see their faces grown ever more haggard every time they pass through the crystarium. How long was I out? I shall let them know you're awake. And when they come to see you, sweetie, please do convince them to rest a bit. They won't be helping anyone if they all collapse of exhaustion. Ah, and our own Morin has been little better, I'm afraid. He hasn't left the cabinet, too busy with his nose buried in one dusty tome or another. Right. Muscle memory, I've gotten used to doing that pretty much everywhere. In a way, this kind of reminds me of when Cloud came out of the live stream and he was all Papega. Because of what happened to him. It's the same sort of theme of, like, seeing the main character, or the main characters, in plural, in at their lowest point. It makes the story a lot more emotionally impactful if there's at least one moment in the story where that happens, you know? Where you get to see the main characters or main character brought down to a very low point. You can almost say it's basically part of the formula of writing a good, emotionally impactful story. Confound it. This says the same thing as the last. Mayhap I should approach the problem from a different perspective. Leon! Is it truly you, and not some figment of my imagination? No, it's me, buddy. Oh, but this is wonderful! It would seem our prayers have been answered. How so? Feeling otherwise helpless, I've been scouring our shelves for the wisdom to explain this most worrisome conundrum. Why, with all the Light Wardens defeated, has the light returned to Why, with all the Light Wardens defeated, has the light returned to obscure the sky? Excuse me. I must have pored over 100 tomes, but no definitive conclusion seems forthcoming. How many questions I would pose to the Exarch. And thus do I feel his absence all the more keenly. Now that you are awake, however, I am hopeful the search for our stolen steward might begin in earnest. Catless, meanwhile, leads the crystalline mean in preparations for battle. Though against what foe we are as yet uncertain. Why not pay her a visit? I expect seeing you upright would be a much welcome relief. Wait, so go to, yeah. Alright, milady. I'll bow this time because I'm just not feeling it. I'm too down in the dumps, you know? You know, I said that semi-jokingly, but it's weird how sometimes when you fake something, you start to actually feel that emotion. Because I said that and I actually choked up. See, like that. Leon! Alive and well, I see. You gave us all a proper fight, you know that? Not a day's gone by that I haven't heard folk worrying what's to become of you or the Exarch. Anyway, I'm glad you've recovered enough to stand. You're not planning on striking out straight away, though, are you? I was hoping to have a better look at your equipment. If we'd been able to provide you with better weapons or sturdier helms, then maybe you would have won the day and the Exarch would still be here. It's not why this happened, but they don't know. As such, we're keeping busy consulting each other on new forging techniques and designs and the like. If you could stand still a moment, I'd like to assess the gear we're trying to improve. Okay. Hi, well, that's some fine work, I must admit. It wouldn't be impossible to make something better, but we'd need to experiment with different patterns and materials. And I'm not sure we have that kind of time. That sounds like a challenge that he would enjoy. What's up? Greetings, Splinter. The master of the stairs is running his own errands now, is he? Aye, well, my servers are distraught enough as it is, and I don't want to crack the whip too hard. But never mind that. I'm thinking our absent genius and his epiphanies are the perfect answer to this predicament of yours. And by genius, you mean old Grenold? He is a man of unrivaled gifts, I won't argue with you there. But what good does his talent do us if we can't bloody find him? No one's seen hide nor hair of Grenold since he wandered off some years ago. You know what he's like once he latches onto an idea. He's probably cloistered himself in some forgotten cave, completely absorbed in his latest creation. I wouldn't even know where to start looking. That does make things difficult. Still, if that eccentric is someone you're destined to meet, I wager he'll show up soon enough. In my time at the bar, many's the tale I've heard told of strangely fated encounters. Even if a few of them might be stretching the truth just a bit. I think they're low-key referencing the role quests. This is kind of the game reminding you, if you haven't done these yet, or at least one of them, get it done now. Or else you're gonna hit a wall, like I did 2 years ago. We'll keep our noses to the grindstone for the time being, but on the off chance you do encounter Grenold, you'd be wise to take advantage of his brilliance rather than wait on our slow and steady progress. This is all talk for when you're fully recovered, of course. I'll let you get back to convalescing, eh? Thanks. Ah, before you do that, you're actually the reason I came over here in the first place. Really? I don't suggest partaking of my stock until you're properly well, but if you're passing near the stairs, then I have a regular who's eager to meet you. Okay. Anyway, I'd best be getting back. Just because the world's coming apart at the seams doesn't mean we have to follow suit now, does it? No, not yet anyway. Not until eventually it reaches home, but... Here. We can't forget the heart upon which this city was founded, or the Exarch might not have much of a home to return to. Poor Leon. Like, he really wants to reach out and tell someone what's wrong, but he can't. That's a horrible feeling. You want to cry out for help, but you can't because for one reason or another, you just feel like you can't tell people what's wrong with you. For fear of how they might react and judge you, you know? That's extremely and incredibly relatable. I'm gonna keep that emotion, that despair welled up inside you. You can't talk to anybody about it. It's horrible. One of the worst things. In his garden. Leon, are you alright? I think a return to your sickbed might be in order. Or you might consider resting a while atop the watchtower next to the rookery? This damnable sky doesn't make for the most soothing scenery, but the Exarch often liked to stand there and feel the wind upon his face. So yeah, that Leonard was reminding us just now, go do the role quest, basically. That's why I said there's someone at the bar, you know, back at the tavern, over here, who wants to see you or whatever. It's, you know, your role quest partner, basically. But we already did those ahead of time. Doesn't change that dialogue, as you can see. At the time of my first playthrough, though, like I said, I hadn't done it yet, and I should have listened to him at that point, but I foolishly kept going. I'd gotten too sucked into MSQ and forgot that that was a requirement, you know? Oh, looks like I'm not the only one feeling down in the dumps, huh? Well, we've become the three amigos here, all going through the same shit, literally.
The people of this city have spirit, I'll give them that. They've not lost the will to fight.
That's how the Exarch raised them, man.
I can imagine how torn you must feel, looking at that sky. Knowing what it means to everyone. And that you're responsible.
He literally raised them. He's way older than everyone here, so... He created this whole town, the Crystal Exarch, so... He really did raise everyone here. That's exactly what I was just saying in that last cutscene. The secrecy is worse. I'd rather people knew.
If you're thinking of coming clean, don't. It might make you feel better, but it would make things 100 times worse for them. They're better off not knowing.
Yeah. I know. Doesn't make it any easier.
You're in a corner, and there doesn't seem to be any obvious way out. But that doesn't mean it's over. However hopeless it seems, you haven't lost yet.
Arvid would know all about what that feels like, yeah. He can really relate to this.
I remember looking up at the sky like this before. Being caught up in a strange kind of calm. It was after we realized we were responsible for the flood. When we resolved to journey to the source by taking our own lives. One last sacrifice. One last fight. One last failure. And then the Oracle appeared and, well, you know the rest. There were times in the years and decades that followed when I wondered if we might not have been better off just letting the rejoining happen. That we'd made one last mistake. But seeing that giant Talos stir to life cured me of any doubts I still had. Always we took the burden of fighting upon ourselves. That's what heroes do, isn't it? So we never had the chance to see anything like that. Our people coming together as one.
That was a beautiful moment.
To think that their hope still burned so bright. That they were still so eager to live, they would lift up their fellows, one on top of the other, till they reached the sky. No. We made the right decision. And I can finally feel proud of the part we played in helping this world survive.
Oh, fist bump.
Well, come on then.
Come on, Leon, don't leave him hanging. I'll have to hang his hand on a rope like, what's his name? Barney. And that's how I met your mother. Whoa.
As I thought, what happened between us was no coincidence. My story may be finished, but the fates have gifted me a minor role in yours.
That's what Memphillian meant?
I suspected as much the moment I realized you could hear me. But it's hard not to doubt yourself when you're the man who caused the flood. I was afraid to do anything more than watch for fear of making things even worse. But no longer. After all, the path I once walked is now yours to finish.
To look up what these scenes look like as a Lalafell one day.
For what it's worth, I cast my lot with yours. If you need a push, I'll be right there behind you. If you lose control, I'll do my best to stop you.
Thanks, friend.
So, let us be about it, hero.
Let's do it.
Oh, I was worried you were up here all alone, brooding and fretting and wallowing in your woes. But look at you, grinning at nothing like a pollen-drunk pixie.
Oh, only because you showed up at the right time, Jesus.
Look at what you've done to your ether. It's a mess. And you have cracks running all through that pretty soul of yours. My poor little sapling. Whatever am I to do with you? Shall I yield up my throne? You could claim it, cut ties with the mortal world, hide away in the castle. It won't fix the problem, but would it really matter? If any pesky heroes come calling with steel and magic, all of Il Meg will rise up in your defense. My crown and scepter are yours, if you want them. What? Don't give me that look! Of course I knew before I asked that you'd never ever heed such a wicked suggestion. And besides, what would become of my precious and ephemeral flower? Dear beloved sapling, you are lost, confused, and have precious little time to gather your wits. Your kind is always so preoccupied with what lies ahead, and so we muddle your vision with fog and glamour. But such trickery is easy to see through. Stand very, very still. Think not of where you need to go, but where you are right now at this moment, at this time, in this place. Our cairn of crystal. From shadowed hood he watched you go, his ruby eyes with warmth aglow. See yourself as he saw you, and that shall be the clearest clue. You stand in his garden, dear sapling. Ask his flowers what they know, and you will surely find an answer. But what will you do with it, I wonder? I'll be watching and waiting. Waiting and watching.
That was a beautiful scene. The part with Ardbert and with her. She, I feel like she did a really good job at cheering us up in her own funny little way. It was very cute and endearing. It honestly made me choke up quite a bit. And at the same time, you know, reminded us of an important little lesson that even applies to, you know, most of our personal lives in real life, which is to remind yourself of where you are in this moment. To bring yourself back to the present. Whether your thoughts are stuck in the future or just somewhere else, you know? It's the whole premise behind meditation. And it can do a lot more than most people realize when it comes to snapping you out of a slump. Surprisingly. It still surprises me to this day. A simple few 5-10 minutes of awareness can, sometimes, not always, but sometimes can really, turn your day around. So yeah, I guess we'll just follow her advice. Remind ourselves of where we are right now, in the here and now. And focus on what we can do right now. Obviously not that, but I didn't want to go down the damn stairs a long way. Oh ho! I did not expect to see you on your feet so soon. Surely you have not come in search of an Amaro. Well, actually, no. What do I know of the Crystal Exarch? I am happy to share, but I fear there will be no surprising revelations. As any in this city could tell you, he is a man of wisdom and compassion and many untold secrets. Excuse me. But none can doubt his generosity. When the Crystarium was being constructed, he even allowed folk to plunder the tower for resources. Dude! First, hiccups and then almost sneezing. Jesus. He has imposed no restrictions upon us but one. No one except the Exarch is permitted to dwell within the spire. Many seasons past, a comrade of mine was bold enough to ask the reason why. The Exarch merely smiled and said, "Because one day the Crystal Tower may vanish as suddenly as it arrived." That's something he definitely never told us. But of course we know now why. Why would it vanish? Because he was planning on it. He was planning on taking the Crystal Tower, along with the lights from the Light Wardens, into the Rift and dying there with it. He didn't want anybody to get caught up inside and being taken with him and dying with him. He loved and cared for everyone here too much for that. Leon, it was good to see you awake and alert, my friend. Hey, Cassard, I got some questions. What's this about? You're not writing the Exarch's memoirs, are you? I'm not sure how much I can tell you, considering we avoid asking too many questions. Unspoken rule and all that. If anyone has fresh insights to share, then it'd be Captain Lena, I'd say. She lost her parents to an eater attack not long after she was born, and the Exarch saw to her upbringing. Outward appearances aside, those two are like grandfather and granddaughter. I imagine the news of his predicament hit her doubly hard. Not that our proud captain would ever let it show. If you do decide to talk to Lena, she'll be at her usual post at the Ascensor Gate. I guess I'll have to talk to her after this. Oh, was there something else you needed? If you've come for the results of my research into this persistent light, I'm afraid there's little to tell as of yet. Records pertaining to the Exarch? Well, I need no documentation to relay what little I know of his history, if that is what interests you. Less than a decade had passed since the coming of the Flood, when the Crystal Tower first flashed into existence. Its summoner, the Exarch himself, became known to the refugees in Lakeland soon thereafter. He welcomed all who sought out the spire, be they locals who had lost their homes or Vovertites fleeing their ruined kingdom, and together did they found the city which would become the Crystarium. Some thought to call him king, for he refused to share his name, but the summoner did not deem himself worthy of royal address. Thus did the people consider his scintillating skin, so alike to the tower he had summoned, and bestowed upon him the title of Crystal Exarch. As for his true name, well, it would seem that is a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Thanks, Marn. Where the hell is... Oh! Somehow I didn't see this right here. Lena? Leon, I was not told you had awoken. Yeah, I'm alright now. More or less. A welcome surprise. If only the Exarch was returned to us. He was taken by this rival of yours, was he not? Your companions mentioned they had an idea of where to find him. And so I bristled when they asked for your patience. I did not understand their hesitation, until I saw that you had fallen. Only then did I realize that I had no business rushing ahead. Even so, the delay has been no less agonizing. In the moments before he left to join you in Pelusia, the Exarch entrusted me with a key. It opens the door in the ocular to a chamber known as the Umbilicus. This room is the heart of the tower into which only the Exarch himself is permitted to enter. Holy shit, and he gave that key to you? He bid me allow none into the tower once he had departed. Only in the event that an army of eaters descended upon the city was I to access the Umbilicus and awaken the defensive barrier. Never before had he left me with such instructions, but the battle with Bothri loomed near, and at the time I accepted the key without much thought. Since then, however, that moment is all that occupies my mind. When I recall the look upon his face, he knew that some terrible fate awaited him. Tell me, Leon. I need to know what he feared. What battle you and your companions are truly fighting. I can't say. Forgive me. I trust in the Exarch, and I should not be voicing these doubts when he is not here to respond to them personally. But you have come to me with a question of your own, have you not? Yeah. Ah. I see I am not the only one who burns for answers. The time has come to open the tower's heart. Though we do not face an invasion of eaters, I suspect the city will be in far more danger if you do not gain the knowledge you seek. Probably so, yeah. The unbroken thread. Come. Meet me in the ocular and I will unlock the door within. Master Leon, the captain said to expect you.
I have unlocked the door to the Umbilicus. You are free to enter. Once you have what you require, I'll see it sealed once more. Until then, I will remain without.
Thank you, Lena. My lady.
A moment to collect my thoughts, I prithee. Thy true name is Grahatia, then? By thy claims, thou too art a native of the Source, though from an age beyond our own, when the 8th umbral calamity hath visited devastation upon our star. Thou hast, by subtle means, reached across the boundaries of time and space to unsow the seeds of catastrophe, ere its creeping vines drag our champion unto an early grave.
In essence, yes. A difficult story to swallow, I am sure.
I doubt not the veracity of thy words, not the account of thy coming, nor that of the fated calamity. Yet my mind straineth still to apprehend the enormity of this tale. Wouldst thou favor me with a gradual unfolding of its chapters?
Certainly. But where to begin? I should start with those great minds who survived the calamity. Sid Garland being perhaps the greatest. In hopes of staying the unending tides of war, he and his fellows pursued all manner of possible solutions. One of these was rooted in a theory which unified several fundamental principles discovered over the course of the Warrior of Light's adventures. It proposed a method by which one could enter the River of Time, traverse the rift, and leap between worlds. Perfecting that idea, however, was a work which consumed their lifetimes, and thus was it left to future generations to decide whether theory would be put into practice. But all the while, the world continued to burn. Hope was a feeble outpost, beset on all sides by thievery and misery and murder. People cried out in despair, "There is no hope, we are finished. Mankind is finished." Then others raised their voices in answer.
It was a little too real, sometimes.
Though we be beyond salvation, those who came before may yet be saved. We will forge a crossroads and pave the way for a different future. By the wisdom of our forebears, we will prevent this calamity from ever having come to pass. The fighting went on unabated, but some few took up Sid's research and labored to realize those impossible ideas. After 2 centuries of labor, their descendants finally succeeded in awakening the Crystal Tower, an integral part of the process, and, in doing so, roused its caretaker, me.
The promise we made to Grahatia back in the Crystal Tower series, right? We'd eventually find a way to open the door.
Scholars had largely established the phenomena underpinning the rejoining, and identified the first as the shard which precipitated the 8th umbral calamity. This grand structure was already capable of storing the energies required to attempt the translocation. All that remained was to augment some few of its functions based upon the theoretical models of Sid and his compeers.
And by means of such technologies didst thou affect thine arrival in the first, to an age before this star had joined with the Source.
Some while before, as it turned out. 'Tis all but impossible to predict how time will flow between one world and the next, and we missed our mark by almost an entire century. But this only worked in our favor. The Sin Eaters could not be defeated without the blessing of light, and summoning the only man who might stand a chance against them would require decades of preparation.
An undertaking of scarce credible endurance. That thou hast kept thy plan from falling into disarray these many years bordereth on the miraculous.
Definitely.
Yet howsoever history be rewritten, thy present self was shaped by events which followed the calamity. Should said catastrophe be averted, the very skein of thine existence will unravel. Surely thou hast foreseen this.
I am aware of the consequences. 'Tis for that very reason Sid and his colleagues bequeathed their legacy as an offering, and not an edict. To give all of oneself for the happiness of others, and with no promise of reward. 'Tis a hard thing to ask. Harder still for those condemned to survive in a world which pitted brother against brother. Indeed, you are right to call the execution of this plan miraculous, though the force which held it together was nothing so inexplicable. It was him. The warrior of light has been our unbroken thread. Where others would stumble and fall, he would rise above. Where others would break and run, he would carry on. The warrior of light's tale is one of unyielding bravery. To tell it was to feel courage. To hear it was to feel hope. It was a breath of inspiration in an age of suffocating shadow. In the histories of a fallen nation was our hero hailed as its greatest ally. In the time-worn pages of a noble's memoirs were his deeds joyously retold. For many, these stories were the flame which warmed them through the coldest of nights. And so it should come as little surprise that the plan found no shortage of volunteers, concerning as it did the warrior of light himself. It was their chance to add their own verse to the hero's saga. He was the lodestar that brought them all together, to send their final message back through time and space to him. The light of your legacy was our torch in the darkness. Burn bright again and live. I am merely the bearer of that wish, come to ensure it is safely delivered.
Wherefore sharest thou this burden with me and no other? What wouldst thou have me say?
That you will be my accomplice? 'Twas you yourself who convinced me of your suitability when you spoke of how you learned of the Flood and of your part in arranging Minfilia's journey to the First. Your actions showed uncommon resolve. 'Twas clear you were committed to the cause of saving this world. I knew I could trust you to choose the right path forward, even if that choice came with a heavy price.
What price?
When all is said and done, and the last of the Light Wardens lies slain, I will absorb their corrupted ether, and then I will die. Knowing what I know of your companions, not to mention your champion, they will try to stop me. But in saving one, they would save none. Therefore, I implore you to aid me in concealing my identity, and ensuring this tale ends as it must. To this end, I would have you take what I have told you of the Calamity, and make of it a portent. A prophetic vision you beheld in the swirling chaos of the rift.
Is this truly thy wish?
History remembered the Warrior of Light, as I knew it would. And I will suffer no other to rescue the champion whose star has charted my course. I will see this tale to a happy end, my friend. There has been enough tragedy.
Careful now. If you lose control again, the light could claim you for good. Although it's probably only a matter of time before you succumb to the change in any case. What do you mean to do?
I have a few words with both the Exarch and Emetsilk.
Then we should be on our way. Dacian mentioned the Tempest, did he not? That's the stormy seas around Calusia to you. His lair must be down there somewhere, hidden beneath the waves.
Like me and Ardbert are now officially partners in crime. Two warriors of light working side by side. A beautiful thing. Did you find the answers you sought? If there's nothing more you need, I will go and lock the door. I need some directions. You wish to know the way to the Tempest? You mean the sea itself, and not the island of Calusia? If you make a request to the Tamers, they will provide you with an Amaru, but... Excuse me. Do you mean to leave right this moment? Alone? I am not sure that... Nay, I will not seek to stop you. Go with the blessings of the Shadow, and I shall await your safe return. Requiring an Amaru. Just a moment and I shall saddle our swiftest beast to fly you to the island. The open water? To the depths of the Tempest? Our Amaru can swim, yes, but to reach the ocean floor. This is gonna get complicated, isn't it? And before more filler quests to get us there, right? Oh shit, not now.
Ah, we have found thee.
My friends, they're back.
Word reached us of thy recovery, and thus did we gather with all haste. Ah. By thy looks, I gather thou hast gleaned that which I came to tell thee.
You got some explaining to do, motherfucker.
Urianger has shared everything with us. The Exarch's true identity and purpose.
I offer no excuses. When I agreed to aid the Exarch with his plans, 'twas in full acceptance of the condemnation I would face when my duplicity was laid bare. Yet it is not rancor, but resolve that I sense in thee. Thou art fully intent upon walking thy path to its end, art thou not?
Of course, I always
If thou
am.
canst forgive my deception, or, failing that, set aside thy displeasure for a time, I do beg leave to follow thee. What strength and wisdom I possess are thine to command.
Come on, there's only one answer I would ever give him. I forgive you. Let's go.
I thank thee. Doubt not but that I will do all in my power to repay thy kindness and fulfill the Exarch's wishes.
I'm sorry, but I don't think this is a good idea. Leaving the Crystarium, I mean, with or without Urianger. What I did for you won't last forever. There's no telling when the light will break free again.
And I'll just be a threat to everyone here.
Please, you must stay here. At least for a little while longer. We will find a way to cure this, I promise you.
How can you make promises? We don't even know where to start.
Alize, please. You know Reen was only trying to help.
Of course I know! I know only too well! But making promises you have no way of keeping is not a kindness. It's a lie. Plain and simple. We've all searched, high and low, for an answer. And every one of us came back empty-handed. I am not about to stand in his way now. Not after failing him in his hour of need. No! The least we can do is...
We will go with you as well. There is naught to be gained by standing still.
Indeed, we have exhausted every other avenue. Lead, and we shall follow. If there is any hope to be found, then we will surely find it at your side.
Are we all in agreement then?
Is there aught we can do to help?
Though we may not know the whole story, we do know you're in for a fight. And while the Exarch's away, it falls to the rest of us to see the Warrior of Darkness is given a proper send-off.
You told them!
No! Well, not in so many words.
Of course.
Aye, we didn't need it spelled out for us. When the night sky appeared over whichever place you went to, it was harder not to put two and two together.
Yeah, I mean, they're not stupid, guys. Come on. They knew.
From the moment I heard that you and the Exarch shared the homeland, I had my suspicions. Long had he been waiting for a certain someone to arrive, and I knew at once that it must be you.
Exactly.
When he went up to meet you, 'twas clear it was no ordinary visitor. That spring in his step spoke volumes. I could feel his excitement.
Eat him! That's right!
We do not fully understand where you or the Exarch hail from, or why you've all done so much to protect us. But we are deeply grateful nonetheless. So, if there is anything at all we might do to aid your journey, you need only name it. What would you have of us?
You might have invited them to join us, where they're not so many. But come, they are waiting. What is your will, O warrior of darkness?
Leave it to us. We'll see the Exarch home safe and sound. Game is fucking amazing, dude. It tugs so hard on your heartstrings. Jesus Christ. My god, wow. See, this is what I meant about how much better it gets in the last segment of the game. The last half. The first half, like I said, still kind of feels a little bit like any other expansion for a while, but towards the end, man, does this shit pick up. Like, that was the most my eyes have watered up during any emotional moment in the entire, like, I think I almost want to say the entire marathon. Not just Final Fantasy 14. Jesus. Like, when Alize, that moment right there, when Alize, broke down crying because, you know, she tries to hide it a lot, but she obviously cares a humongous amount about your character, you know. We got a hint from it from Tesleen, right? How much, she loves and cares about you. That was... It was all I could do to hold back from, like, just bawling my eyes out. Like, I actually had to fucking wipe tears out of my eyes on that one. Like, that was, overwhelming. The voice actors did an amazing job for Alize on that scene. Whew. Just so you know, I will not look kindly on any further attempts to leave us behind. We do this together. I mean, I had Ardbert, but you guys can't see him. I once said that I wanted to fight for Estinian, but I wanted to save him, not let him be sacrificed for a cause. And now I say the same to you. Yeah, I guess I'm in his shoes now in a way, yeah. When he was taken over by Nidhogg. Now I know what it feels like. Gods know you've spent enough time charging into danger on our behalf. It's only fair that we return the favor. There's nothing I can do to cleanse you of the light's corruption, but I'll do everything in my power to keep it in check. Excuse me, if the Warden's ether overwhelms you again, you will become a Sin Eater. So please, excuse me again, save your strength for when it really matters. I will. Thanks, Green. I want to give her one of those head pats that Tanker did. The volunteers who journeyed to Calusia have all been safely returned to their homes. They've also assured us that they will do their best to hold the Eaters at bay in our absence. Alright, Urianger. Let's go, my friend. Thou didst plan to commandeer an Amaro for thy journey to the open sea? I fear the following dive down unto Emmet Selk's underwater abode would drain even thy legendary stamina. Thus, during thy convalescence, we considered the most efficacious method for reaching the depths of the Tempest, and I believe we have arrived at an elegant solution. Yet ere we discuss this step, I suggest thou dost conclude such pressing business as remains to thee in the Crystarium. Once the sea closeth above our heads, we are unlikely to surface again until our grand deed is done. Again, do your role quests at this point. Finish them up. Which is weird since we're not even at level 80 MSQ, but the last role quest is level 80. But still, they know you're probably over leveled at this point anyway. And I still didn't do them. Maybe this should have been the point where they told you, where they put the wall and tell you to go do it. Instead they do it later. After you're already... well, you'll see. The storm-tossed seas. Thine affairs are in order? Then I shall unfold to thee my proposal. Our destination is the ocean floor. Yet our goal is not simply to arrive there. Nay, we must needs have the means to breathe and fight freely. Thus would I petition the aid of one of the Fae, a being with whom I have yet to meet face to face. Rather than waste words on explanation, I bid thee follow me unto the hamlet of Sullen, which lieth to the south and west. All will become abundantly clear, I promise thee. Alright. Damn, my eyes are all puffy now. Damn it, Elise. Why'd you make me cry so hard? Jesus. I think the reason I felt more emotion in this than any previous Final Fantasy game we've played so far, it's and I had my suspicions even back when we were watching other, like FF10 for example, which is really tear-jerking, right? Especially towards the end. I think it's because since in this game the main character is you, it's yours, it's your main character, and you feel more of a connection with them, especially if you make him an extension of yourself, which a lot of players do, including me. It feels way more personal that way. That's probably why these things hit home a lot more, because when the the characters feel sympathy for you, it's like it almost reaches you. And when shit happens to your character and all that stuff, it feels a lot more personal, yeah. So it seems to be like it hits closer to home. At least I can only speak for myself, obviously. But I think that's why I get more emotional with this game than other Final Fantasy games. Because in other games, the main character it's always the same person. It's not you, per se, or a character that you made. With whatever backstory you might have wanted to give your character and everything. It's less personal by that extension alone. There to the west, canst thou discern the hump of an isle rising above the water? That foliage-covered mass hideth the key to our safe descent. Swim close and plunge thee beneath the surface. Thou shalt soon divine the reason for mine insistence. Though it be much to my shame, I can but flail and flounder where thou mayest glide as a fish. I shall board a boat to the island and spare one and all the spectacle of mine inept strokes. Oh my god. At least he's not afraid to admit it. Alfino, on the other hand, that fool refuses to acknowledge to anyone that he can't swim. Oh. I get it though. We all have things that we're too embarrassed to share with others, even our closest friends. Down we go. Whoa. What's that in? that an eyelid? Two curved slabs of rock seem squeezed together here, giving the impression of a giant stone eyelid. Or of giant stone eyelids. Yeah. Though it appears solid enough, the rock yields slightly under your touch. Was the surface gently shifting, or was it just your imagination? It looks like solid rock, but it's a little bit squishy, basically. It's called the Isle of Ken. The source. Why is this area called the source? What the hell? That's weird. Is that a fuck up, or is it a different kind of source? Like, what's it referring to? Yep. There's a tail and a spine right there. There's no ordinary island. A big horn. It looks like a giant whale with a horn. What does that remind me of? Even seeing it up close, I'm still not sure what's so special about this island. You gotta take a step back. But y'all can't fly like me, so. The locals call this the Isle of Ken, which I presume must refer to knowledge. Either that, or someone was being awfully zealous about marking his territory. Yeah. Ken Masters, whom we met from Street Fighter, whom we met in the Evil East raids, came here and claimed this island. Actually, I forgot that didn't happen on stream. So when I caught up on the Evil East raids with the alternate version of Leon on Ether, when I did the final Evil East raid again, I ended up in a party with somebody who was playing as a monk, job class, and he was, or maybe it did happen on stream, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it didn't, though. No, it didn't. I took some video clips and pictures, though, I can show you guys. In fact, I'll look it up right now, real quick. But yeah, the dude was a monk, and he was cosplaying as Ken. It was, like, perfect. If you've solved Urianche's little mystery, then you can find him further up the slope. This was all rather obvious to my eyes, so I concede I have an unfair advantage. Yeah, an unfair advantage that's draining your life away. You ever gonna, stop that? Ah, there you are. Once you've completed your underwater investigations, the path here leads to the top of the island. Alright. That's everybody. Hey. I'm pretty sure that's the whole party, yeah. So yeah, here. Since we're on a place called the Isle of Ken, shouldn't take me that long to find it. 1 second. Sort by screenshots. Let's see. Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, same one that far. Yeah, here we go. This is a good picture. Right here. Ken Masters, everyone. He fucking nailed it. I don't know where he got the gloves and everything, but I was like, that's fucking Ken right there. Like, it was amazing. I don't know if I have the video. Well, we don't have time to look at the video clip anyway, but seeing him do all the fucking monk techniques, I was like, it's actually Ken. Like, he actually looked like Ken from Street Fighter doing all that shit. It was good shit. Alright, back to the game. Are we on to? Well, what hast thou discerned? It reminds me of a certain primal. Most perceptive. According to the lore of the Pixies, we are, even now, perched upon the back of an ancient Fey entity. Its name is Bismarck. Aye, the self-same title by which we know the great feathered whale revered by the Vanu of the Source. I would enlist its aid to bear us unto the deep, and thence banish the water with an airy sphere, alike in form to the domes which do shelter the hamlets neath the ruby sea. I see what you mean, yeah. So basically like where the Tamamizu, right? Where the Kojin live, as well as the other place I forgot the name of, where the Ryans lived. Within its compass we may move unencumbered and defend ourselves when the hour of battle cometh, as it most surely shall. Now I must needs ask for silence whilst I make my supplication. Go for it, dude.
Wir Sach, Bilan Bismail. Fallen si lor wislan, adas si alinal.
Van urs atslir, olfod thim, iri guath thi.
Oh dear. I don't need to speak Fey to know that didn't go well.
Yeah, he said no. We need Fey. For once, I'm gonna just take the initiative and call her and ask for help like she's always begging me to do. Here she comes.
To call me at last!
Look how happy she is.
And where do you go? On a trip? A journey? I knew you wouldn't give up without a fight. Oh, my precious mortal, I shall help you in any way I can. Yes, Bismail win picked. Van dromi drom Jacob. Van Red Rithje.
Ahai una, sahawin ulsk.
There we go, we needed someone with authority.
Be sure to scrub this one's teeth for him upon your return. It's only good manners.
It will be done, Your Majesty. Our deepest thanks for your timely intervention.
An agreement is reached and your departure is at hand. You wingless ones best hold on tight. May the blessings of the Fae keep you safe, Inba.
I love how they're using the main theme of Final Fantasy here.
Van
do always tend to use this main theme of FF for, like, when you're marching towards the final battle, right? You and your party, your companions, the Warriors of Lights in the first game. Oh shit! Look at him go! He's so cute! Flying floating whale with a horn on it.
And just like that, it's all gone back to the way it was.
What was you expecting? 100 years of honey and rainbows? Seeing them Yulmore types wake up and smell the ashes was miracle enough for me.
Ah, the magic in the air when that ladder started moving. And when that great hulking Talos rose up. Gods. I could live 1,000 years and never behold anything so amazing.
What the? Do you see that?
Surprise, motherfucker! We weren't done giving you guys things to get shocked by.
What a monster! Where did it even come from?
Oh shit! Run, dude!
Whoa, yeah! It's not stopping. Run! Run!
Vanana Anna Tilden Sidok Iri Halmsi Thunne Aktma Thonyasni Tagnai.
Wow.
The breath of Bismarck. See how it swells to form a dome beneath the waves? The waters recede. The tempest's floor is laid bare. In defiance of the blinding sky, this place holds fast to its gloom. The last refuge of he who denies the light with every fiber of his being. You stand at the precipice, hero. Journey unto the heart of darkness. Finish it.
Well, I made it in one piece. This is what it's like to be at the bottom of the ocean without any water. Oh, we're not submersed in it, at least, but, you know. Water is still above and around us, at least, like a big bubble. It's like in Tamamizu. Takes you back to Calusia. One of those geysers that shoots you back up, I'm guessing. I dare say Uyanje endured much playful attention from the pixies to learn the lore of Bismarck. He is nothing if not a dedicated scholar. Yeah. Yeah, he is. His thirst for knowledge is insatiable. With all that water out of the way, we'll be able to venture quite some distance. And itself must be hiding around here somewhere. This is amazing! I can't even see the surface! Nope. Bismarck must be powerful indeed to create a dome of this size. I can only pray to whichever gods are listening that it continues to hold. Yeah, exactly. Or else we're all dead. I remember being impressed by the domes of the Ruby Sea, but this makes them look like bubbles in a stream. Yeah. Very much so. I'm so glad am I that Bismarck was true to his word. Are you alright, dude? We are arrived in the Tempest safe and dry. It's here that we shall find the lair of Emet-Selch, and I believe the imprisoned Exarch as well. For an Ascian alone, it is of course a trifling matter to flee unto the rift, yet I suspect such travel is nigh impossible with a mortal in one's custody. Nay, he would not soon risk his prize when the Exarch's very body serveth as the key to the crystal tower and its powers of temporal transportation. Thus am I all but certain that this underwater realm harboureth our friend and enemy both. We have but to find him. Indeed. In the event that you leave the area, speak with Inul at Benmont Yards in Calusia to return to the Tempest. Alright. Let's see, it's not canon for you to leave because, you know, they told us before we left Crystarium we won't be back until we're done down here. So get whatever unfinished business you have, get it done now, right? But, as I've said a million times before, it's an MMO, they can't restrict you to any areas. Unless you, broke one of the rules and went to GM jail or something. But otherwise, they can't restrict you. They can't stop you from going back to, hang out with your friends at any point. Come, let us begin our search. Waiting in depths. Now, as for where we should be looking, I rather doubt Emet-Selch will be sitting around out in the open. I propose we follow the slope down towards the deeper trenches, and keep an eye out for rock formations large enough to house a stronghold. Right. Let's be off then, but watch your footing. The ground is still wet and like to be slippery. We gotta put up those janitorial signs, right? Caution, floor wet when slippery, We're standing on sand though, that's not gonna be slippery no matter what. What is that thing? Funny how I never paid attention enough to the creatures down here. I was like, what the fuck is that? It's quite something, isn't it? What's this? What's this? Hey buddy, you alright? You heard about these guys before. Natural reaction. Suddenly had the water sucked out from around them and then they see me. Yeah, I would expect that kind of reaction. The finless ones! They followed me! Why have you come? Was it you who took away our water? Yeah, sorry about that. Ah, so this is where the Ondo make their home. I had wondered. Pray forgive us any inconvenience we have caused. We were not aware that your people lived here in the Tempest. We need this great dome of air that we might conduct a most urgent search, and thus beg you for your understanding. Chieftain, what are we to do? Are you emissaries of the Ancient Ones? What? The mysteries have stirred. We have seen the illuminated lines shining through the gloom of the abyss. If you are the emissaries, the children, I bid you welcome. If you are not, I bid you leave. I am not sure I understand. Would you be willing to elaborate? Seem not. I suggest we withdraw for the moment. So, what's the plan? Given your condition, I'm reluctant to suggest lingering here. That said, our presently meandering search would proceed far more swiftly if we could call upon the Ondo's local knowledge. Yes. I'd like to know more about this illuminated land the chieftain spoke of. Could it be Emmett Selt's stronghold, do you suppose? Perhaps he lit the lanterns upon his return? We cannot dismiss the possibility, but if these Ondo refuse to speak with us... Leon, do you remember my first scheme for entering Yulmur? How I had planned to ingratiate myself by offering lucrative trading opportunities with the Ondo? The individual I dealt with was reticent in manner and curious in custom, but we were able to reach an agreement nonetheless. I believe that with the right approach, we can build a similar relationship here. What kind of approach did you have in mind? That chieftain fellow didn't leave us many options. If we are to tread the swiftest course, then we must needs locate its beginning. Our all too dramatic arrival hath thrown this settlement into confusion. Excuse me. Were we to solve such problems as we have caused, and assure our hosts thereby to our purpose here is not inimical to them. To them. They may yet prove amenable to reason. I smell chores, but very well, if it can be done quickly. Thank you, Thancred, for saying exactly what I was thinking. Here come the filler quests. Can we get them over with, please? What do you think? I have nothing better to offer, but I do worry that what will happen if the Ondo's tales end up leading us to a dead end. I cannot say for certain, but I sense this tribe has a deeper connection to the Ascians than first meets the eye. It warrants further investigation. Thus, I cast my vote in favor of aiding the settlement for the time being. Yep, we'll make allies of the Ondo. Sounds good to me. Then it is settled. Y'shtola, pray proceed with your investigations. The rest of us will see about fostering some goodwill. You are Alpino's friend? Leon, you won't believe who I've just bumped into. This is Pa Shuan, the very fellow I did business with prior to our ill-fated stay in Yulmur. I waited and you did not come. Then the mist still came, but his visits did not continue. I am truly sorry, Pa Shuan. Things did not proceed as planned. Is there aught we can do for you by way of an apology? Perhaps... Where the dry return, a cavern to the north, is home to giant crabs. We do not fear the crab, for we are the swifter swimmers. But now there is no water. We run, and they scuttle close behind, snipping and snapping with their claws. There are too many of them. Too many. I believe I can be of assistance there. And what of you, Leon? If you've not found a task, you are most welcome to join me. Indeed, I should appreciate the company. Where the Dry return has a rather ominous ring to it. Yeah, I bet. Wait, how do you... Oh, there we go, it's doing high. Okay, so these guys then. Fair enough. Surprise, motherfucker! Such a cool fucking animation. That's it. It's an interesting sound effect they have for Shadowbringer. Hey Sola, how you doing? Ah, as I suspected. Look what she sees. You could crack their shells? You must be stronger than you look. I see you've reached your quota first again. I shall never be your equal in such tasks. Don't worry about it. Who's keeping score anyway? Not me. Still, I would say we have reduced the local crab population to a far less threatening number. My thanks to both of you. You must have a reward. Nay, Pashoan, this was to be a part of my apology to you, remember? Besides, which the lack of water is our doing, for which we must also make amends. I'd have convinced you to tell us something about your village instead. I would very much like to learn more of you and your people. Very well. Before the flood came, it is said that our ancestral home was found in the seas to the south. It was utterly destroyed by the light. Only those who were out hunting survived. They swam aimlessly and lost, until they spied buildings here on the ocean floor. Strange buildings they were, and long had they stood under the water. Yet somehow they had been spared the scars of time and current. These structures provided shelter for my people, protection from the tempest's turbulent waters and the predators which hunted within them. Their very existence seemed a miracle. The first settlers pondered their good fortune. It was clear that the race who had built such wonders had guided their course, and from this did they discern the truth. Which is what? That the ancients had chosen us to serve as caretakers of their eternal sanctuary until such time as they returned. Thus, if it is judged that your coming and this great vanishing of water was by the ancients' design, you will find warm welcome here. A truly astonishing history, yet I cannot help but wonder how will the significance, or otherwise, of our arrival be decided. The ancients have blessed us with protection and prosperity. If your presence serves to bring us the same, there will be no doubt in the matter. Then it would seem our earlier decision was the correct one. Yep, we gotta help them out. We thank you for the lesson, Pashuan, and will continue to do all we can to assist your people. Should you desire our help with any other trouble, pray do not hesitate to ask. We should return to the task at hand. Only, do try not to overexert yourself, my friend. The risk far outweighs the gain. Yeah, I know. The ancients have blessed us with protection and prosperity. If your presence serves to bring us the same, there will be no doubt in the matter. Stola, how you doing? City of the Ancients. Where's the FF7 soundtrack when you need it, right? Ah, Leon. Have you learned aught of note? Yeah. Fascinating. And precisely the sort of information I was hoping to hear. In fact, if you have a moment, I'd like to borrow your eyes to confirm a theory I've been working on. Come. Y'all remember how the City of the Ancients in FF7 looked like a giant coral reef? Almost as if it was meant to be underwater. It wasn't, but it looked like it was, or like it should have been, like this. Anyway, I just realized I'm going the wrong way. I thought it was this way because the height said, you know, we were correct. But then it said go up, and I was like, okay, wrong one. It's this way. Now, there are two tasks I would have you perform. The first requires you to inspect the buildings which surround the Ondo settlement, and note their most distinctive characteristics. For the second, I wish you to use this knife to take scrapings from one of the remnant walls. Pray be as thorough as you can. I shall be waiting here for the results of your investigations. Okay. Inspect the structures of the Ondo cups for distinctive features. And then, yeah, you can move the camera, yada yada. Funny. Distinctive windows. The tall, slender towers feature many elaborate windows, the like of which you have seen nowhere else. Takes care of that spot. A short, sturdy blade made of hammered mithril. You set the point of the knife against the wall, but even after applying considerable pressure, you cannot remove so much as a flake of stone. So that was an epic fail. And what have you discovered? Yes, I would agree that the windows are most distinctive. It would seem the structures appear the same to both your sight and mine. And you say you could not so much as scratch the wall, even with all your might behind the blade? Leon, everywhere I turn in this place, my gaze is drawn by peculiar materials for which I do not have a name. The buildings I had you investigate are prime examples. They may appear to be constructed of ordinary stone, but I assure you it is nothing of the sort. If pressed, I would describe the substance as a composite of several mineral properties blended to create a material of unparalleled durability. Even the Ronkan Empire, once the greatest power in Norbrand, produced nothing which compares to this level of perfection. But if not the Ronkans, then who? Who were these ancients the Ondo claim as the architects of their sanctuary? I suspect our answer lies with the reason Em itself withdrew here to the Tempest. He may simply have wished to retreat somewhere mere mortals would struggle to reach. But there are many such remote locations. Why here specifically? Em itself is devoted to his role, and thus we might assume his choice of stronghold somehow serves the Ascian agenda. Or may have. Is a place more dear to him than any other? Ooh, the first one. Are you saying this was built by ancient Ascians? That is my theory, that these structures are remnants of a time before history, of a star that was yet whole and unbroken. Such traces in the source would have been obliterated by the succession of umbral calamities, but here in the first they might have remained untouched for millennia. That's true. A copy of the mural in the Katana Ravel. Almit presented it to me during my visit to Fanao after our victory in Calusia. That's pretty useful. Thank God someone noted that shit. Oh, that's the one. Here, in the first scene. By Em itself's own words, it depicts a city of eons past and the disaster which befell it. The windows on those buildings look familiar. The design is much simplified, of course, but do you see the similarities between its towers and those you have just inspected? Yep. Hardcore. I also see a meteor shower in the sky. Reminds me of a certain phenomenon we saw in FF14 1.0. And we saw it again in Realm Reborn, I believe, at some point. We are close to the truth, I feel. Let us search the surroundings for another tower. One which matches the picture near enough to remove all doubt. From what I have seen, not more than sand and more sand lies to the east, and the south held no such structures. I suggest we try our luck further to the northwest. Okay. You may view the Katana Ravel mural at any time during this quest by using the relevant item in the key items menu. The quest destination will not be displayed on the map. You must search for a structure which resembles the buildings in the mural, and inspect it from the survey point. The survey point will be found nearby in a location which allows a full view of the structure. That looks familiar. But I don't see the rest of it in the background. Just the one small structure in the foreground of the painting. So, where to examine it from? It's the real question. Ah, there it is. The survey point. Aye, this is a mural writ large. Though I cannot guess at its purpose, it must have been an imposing sight. How much of the tower's height lies hidden beneath the ground, I wonder? Centuries of our history have settled upon such ruins, countless layers of dust and sediment. An entire civilization, its existence forgotten by all except a handful of Asians. And yet, it did exist. They lived here, in this city. But let us focus on what we've learned thus far. The Ondo chieftain spoke of mysteries stirring, of a land illuminated. Judging by his words, he believes this phenomenon related to the ancients' return. Thus can we surmise that what the Ondo saw shining in the abyss was, in all likelihood, yet another remnant of this age-old civilization. And who else would light the lanterns, as Green put it, than Emet-Selch himself? It is almost certain he is there. Yeah, I think we're getting warmer. But if we are to find this stronghold in a timely manner, it seems gaining the Ondo's trust remains our swiftest path forward. I only hope our deeds are enough to win them over. The light of inspiration. Here comes the wall. Thank you for assisting me with my investigations. I shall seek out our companions and share what we have learned. Much as I would like to tell you to sit down and leave the rest to us, your condition demands that we make all reasonable haste. If you are not too weary, it may be useful to speak with Pa Shuan again, and ask if there is aught else he is willing to divulge. Good. Ah, Alfino's friend. You and your companions have done much to repair the damage caused when the waters parted. Anything else you can do? Have you been to the Walls of the Forgotten? I think I've just come from them. The remnants to the northwest, yes? You visited them unbidden? Shh. Could it be that your footsteps were guided by the ancients? I believe it may be so. Listen then, and I will tell you of our plans to bring light to the walls, that we might answer the shining call of the illuminated land. We have requested a finless craftsman to shape for us a sacred lamp. He is odd for a land dweller, choosing as he does to live in the ocean, but his skill is beyond question. It is concerning, however, that we have heard nothing of his progress. If you were to visit this artisan and return with our long-awaited light, then any doubt as to your purpose would be laid to rest. His name is Grenold. You will find his workshop in a metal structure to the south. Holy shit! That's the guy that went missing years ago, that we just heard about from back at the Crystarium. His name also sounds very familiar, and similar to a certain somebody we know from the source. That was never really featured in MSQ, so in this marathon, you'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? But I'll explain in a minute. Knock knock, anyone home? Oh, there he is. Oh, that's just great, that is. Me mind's playing tricks on me now. Look, Grenold, someone's come to visit you at the bottom of the bleeding ocean. Or might be as you're a ghost, eh? Go on, foul shade, feast yourself on me rotten soul. I've got no use for it. A craftsman what can't craft is more pointless than a sea slug with a dome and hammer. And that's an insult to bloody sea slugs. Reynolds appears to be suffering from a crushing bout of self-doubt. Maybe you can help psych him up? Okay. Psych yourself up alongside Grenold. You wouldn't be trying to raise me spirits now, would you, Spirit? Not what you'd expect from a servant of the Netherworld. Yeah, he's looking very familiar. God, it's a spitting image of him. Yeah, Leon recognizes him. Have we met before? It's Gerald! Again, it's all... He's from a set of side quests involving relic weapons in basically every expansion, which I haven't done on stream, so... For those just doing MSQ, you might be like, who's this guy? Or, might be as we cross paths back in the Crystarium, but I don't reckon we've been formally introduced. Name's Grenold, and this here is meant to be me underwater sanctuary. A place where I can give myself over to me work, far from the distractions of the outside world. And yet here you stand. Now what's so damned important that you'd dive all the way down to the bottom of the bleeding tempest to bother me? Well... Ah. Beyond those land. Gods curse me, empty head! I've not so much as made a start! What? I'm worth less than a sea slug. Nay, the slime left by a sea slug. Me delivery dates long past, me workbench is untouched. And I call myself a bleeding artisan. You've heard their beliefs, have you? Bringing light to them ruins will be an act of deep religious and cultural significance. And it was my privilege as a craftsman to be tasked with providing a ritual instrument worthy of the occasion. But I just can't bloody well... Gah! Me mind's a bleeding blank! It's like I've pissed away me last drop of inspiration! Man, he's having a rough time. Tell me you've got summit to show me. Summit as'll give me a muse. Give me muse a right good kick up the ass. The Ondo want to honor the coming of these ancients, so their answering lights got to blaze with the right kind of brightness. Like the spark of life caught in a crystal. But just being sparkly's not enough. Got to dance with joy and sorrow and a sense of hardship endured. You know what I mean? I think I have exactly what you're asking for. Your thoughts turn to the warriors of light from the first, and the crystals you discovered at the end of their journeys. Maybe Grenold would find them inspiring. And yeah, this is why you had to complete the role quests, right here. So you get a different line of text. If you haven't done a single role quest line, this is the wall. It'll tell you, you're shit out of luck, because you still haven't finished your role quests like we told you to, so go do them now. So yeah, my first playthrough I hit the wall right here, and ended up having to run back to the Crystarium to finish a role quest, but I ended up doing all of them back to back, and then finally, you know, came back to MSQ here. Luckily, we've already done that in this playthrough, so... Hey buddy, I got what you need. I've let the Ondo down, aye. But more than that, I've let myself down. Might as well go back to mending kettles. I like that reference. Again, it's hard reference to Gerald. And the kettles, too. His normal profession before he was hired to make relic weapons for you and your friends or whatever. This reminds me of the first relic weapon quest from Realm Reborn. Show Grenold a crystal which once belonged to one of Ardbert's companions. Yep. Here you go, buddy. What's that you got there? Such striking beauty. It shines with heartache and laughter and the transience of life, like the turmoil of history made manifest. Aye, I can see the brilliance of the crystal's legacy. Ah, you'd never capture such a gleam, not if you labored 100 years. Excuse me, but bugger me if I don't mean to try. Where are me tools, goddamn you? I must set to work before the feeling fades. There you go. Just like that, he's inspired. The Illuminated Land. Finally. Level 80. We're at the grand finale, folks. We're almost there now. But I gotta take a break because we're basically at the 2-hour mark. So I'm gonna take about a 5-10 minute break as usual and be right back. A fitting place to take a break since, again, last time I was here I pretty much had to stop my stream and then go level up a bunch of alt job classes so I could do all the role quests at once. Because I wanted to. I knew I only had to do one, but I wanted to do all of them. It paints a fuller picture of the entire storyline for Shadowbringers, including stuff yet to come, so it's worth it for me. Anyway, BRB.